Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back. I hope you guys are feeling fantastic. As we were saying, we are still currently running the Rand Show competition. And to the people who won last week, yes, we did not forget you. You'll definitely get your tickets. We just wanted to round it out, to round up the people who have actually won, all of them. And then you'll definitely get an email notification from the team from the Rand Show that will also be notifying you about your ticket and how you collected. Sorry for any delay. Sorry for anybody who feels like I got a we are not blue-ticking you. We haven't forgotten you. And then later on, probably soon enough, we'll also be having a question for the Rand Show that we'll be asking so that you guys can actually enter and win yourself a ticket. So right now, we're actually going to be heading over to our online interview with Ayanda Mkhwane, who is our mover and shaker for today. Who's our mover and shaker for today. So I hope you guys are also ready for that interview to hear about the amazing work that she does that helps her community and is also uplifting people around her. So right now we're just quickly waiting up for everything to basically come on track so that we can also learn what we'll be having. Oh, Miss Mkhwane is on the line. Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, we can't actually. Can you please kindly unmute your mic so we can hear you?
Is it? It's on
Unmute.
unmute. Can you hear me
Unmute.
now? Can you hear me? Hello?
Are you,
Okay.
did you manage to unmute your mic? We are
Yes, I
still finding
have.
the unmute button.
Everything is unmuted on my side.
No, unfortunately, I'm still struggling to like read your lips.
Oh,
Yes.
everything
Yeah.
is on unmute on my side.
Thank you very much. How are you doing today, ma'am?
I am well. Can you hear me now?
We can, but you sound a bit distant.
Is it? Okay. Maybe it's because I'm in an open area.
Okay, we're still trying to figure out. There we go. Okay, and then
Okay. Can you hear me?
we can. There we go. And
Okay.
then,
All right.
how's it going?
I'll
How's it
keep on
going, Ayanda?
speaking. I'll keep on speaking so that at least we're on the same page.
We
I'm
are. We
good.
are. I
I
think
hope
the
everyone is
important
doing
thing
all
here is
right.
that everyone else who's watching and listening can hear you and us, right? I think that's the most important one. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Great.
There we go. How's it going, Ayanda? Thank you for coming or for joining us. I'm so used to people being in
Thank you.
studio with us live, and in person with us. So I'm used to saying thank you for
I
coming, but
know.
thank you for joining us on this lovely Monday
I'm there
morning.
in
And we really,
spirit. I am there. I'm next to you guys. I'm in between you guys. I'm
yes,
there.
yes. No, we appreciate you taking the time, man. So quickly, let's jump straight into it. For someone who doesn't know who Ayanda is and has never heard of you and the work that you do and everything else that you're involved in, quickly please take us through who is Ayanda Ubani, where do you come from, and what are some of the things
Okay.
that you are involved in or the spaces that you as Ayanda are involved in?
Okay, first and foremost, thank you for having me. My name is Ayanda Mkhwane, and I'm born and bred from Guatemala in Ekurhuleni. So I have a BSc degree in environmental geography, whereby I majored in geography and soil sciences. All right. So I'm currently working for One World Fresh Africa, which specialize in aquaponics farming, training, and farming in general. So yeah, that's about me and that's what I do. So we currently have a program that we've just put a pack on the ground that we are running. It's a 5 weeks comprehensive aquaponics training program that is fully funded by the Rotary International under the program of Desmond Tutu. In partnership with Fresh Ministry. The original company is based in Florida, in America, in Jacksonville.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's about me. Yeah.
Sure. Okay, aquaponics
Yeah.
and climate smart agriculture sound technical. Okay, so for someone perhaps who is not familiar with these terms, can you explain what they are and why they matter for Africa right now? Because we are looking at food safety.
Okay. So, it's funny because after I completed my qualification at University of the Free State, my mom was like, "Hey, why are you interested in aquaponics, but you studied soil science?" All right. I was supposed to be a farmer that's specializing on soil, but I went the opposite direction. And most people have an interesting question: why did you do that? But I always say that we are inspired. Aquaponics is inspired by soil. All right. So, what is aquaponics? So, aquaponics is basically a farming method. It's still in its infancy stage in Africa, but it's still growing, all right, globally as well. It's a farming that integrates two farming method whereby you have aquaculture, which is fish farming in a controlled environment, and then you've got hydroponics, which is growing of plants in the absence of soil. That's where my mom's question comes into play. Soil. Why are you neglecting the soil? Because you are growing crops without soil. So when you integrate hydroponics and aquaponics, then they form aquaponics. All right. So, whereby your water is constantly circulating in your system, and where you have your fish in your system, and when the fish poops, it becomes fertilizer for the plant. So, it's more sustainable given the fact that we have land that has degraded, so we need to come up with innovative solution of feeding the population, the forever increasing population that we have, and taking into consideration the urbanization that is happening. So we know that we have food insecurity as well. So we need to make sure that we come up with smart ways of farming. And this is one of it that saves so much water as well, because water is one of the scarce resources. I think
Absolutely.
I'm speaking a lot.
No, no, no,
No,
no.
you're speaking just enough. You're sharing knowledge. And of course, here on the Vuga Breakfast Show, we're big on sharing crucial and relevant knowledge
Yeah.
because food security, like you mentioned, is a very big topic right now, given the
Yeah.
socio-economic issues that we face as a continent and globally. So, Ayanda, as you've built an incredible career in agriculture, what first sparked your passion for farming and soil science? Like you said, your mom has asked you on various occasions.
Yeah, so good question. Very interesting. Chances are I'm going to be very emotional, but maybe I've been speaking about this over and over again. Chances are I won't be emotional now. So, when I went to university, first and foremost, I come from Guatemala, and we don't have agriculture. So agriculture was not one of those subjects whereby I was like, no, I'm fascinated by agriculture, because the only people I saw farming were like in old age homes. I've never seen a young person farming ever in Guatemala. So when I went to university, I was like bombarded by so many people like, hey, they're doing agriculture. Most of them were white. And I'm like, maybe because they come from a farming background, they've got plots where they're coming from. I'm black. Where will I start? And then I did not even know what I wanted to study. So I studied geology because I liked how it sounded. When people ask me, what did you want? What are you studying? I'm like, geology.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I feel so educated. And then I wanted to study biomedical technology. And then I was like, oh my God, this is so fancy. I can't wait for somebody to ask me, what are you doing? Medical biotechnology.
Yes.
I sounded so educated. But then I realized that my late father was funding me, my late stepfather, for my studies. And then he passed away. He could not fund me anymore. Then I had to go to NAFSAS for funding. And I realized that, you know what, and you can't keep on changing degrees like this. You need to make up your mind. But I was encountering so much poverty at university as well. I was getting hungry, and which reminded me of my background, where I come from, whereby I was surrounded growing up by poverty as well. We used to sleep hungry for a very long time, whereby when I was in primary school, the teacher used to donate for us, my family, I think, yeah, most people undergo through that, you know. But then when I when I decided that, okay, I'm going to do geography, but I think I need to branch into soil science. I don't know what I'm going to do with this degree, but I believe that it's going to land me in good hands. And then after completing, I went back home. I did not get a job. And then I started doing a garden. I started doing a garden to feed my family because I couldn't get a job. And I started selling spinach. And that's when the passion grew. And people wanted my knowledge. And I realized that everything that I've learned in soil science now is coming into play. Now I have to integrate it with plants knowledge. So I did intense research about plants. I realized I enjoyed that. And then I volunteered in primary schools teaching children while I was still job seeking. Then I realized that I actually love teaching and sharing my knowledge with the community. So that's why even currently I'm a trainer. I'm an aquaponics trainer, but I
Oh,
feel
wow.
that I'm an agricultural trainer. Yeah, that's that's what sparked the passion.
Wow, amazing story. Your journey,
Thank
of
you.
course, like many, has not been without obstacles. So, from field
Yeah.
work to training future farmers, women, yay, you've
Yeah.
worn many hats. What part of your journey has been the most transformative for you?
Thank you. I think for me, just when I realized that, okay, now that you have this knowledge, um, I realized that, okay, one day my boss was not around. I used to work at Ichthys Aquaponics, and my boss was not around. And then he said to me, Ayanda, I'm having guests from international guests. I want you to do a farm tour. Do a farm tour for me. And I was like, no, but I'm shy. I can't speak to people. I'm very shy. And then I took that chance and he put a leap of hope to me. And then I did a farm tour. And ever since that day, I realized that, you know what, I love training. And ever since that day, I started doing farm tours and I started training. And that's why I'm enrolling for teaching to incorporate my degree with teaching because that's where my heart is at right now.
Ah,
So, yeah.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You're leading a program that trains emerging farmers. So, what do
Yes.
you see when young people start believing they can farm successfully?
Mm.
Okay. So I think young people have a special place in my heart. You know, I believe that they should be trained at grassroots level, and and I love sharing knowledge with them. And I'm looking forward to train young people, even if some people are older, but I believe that some people are actually young at heart. Okay, and it will minimize the unemployment rate. And I like the fact that whenever we select candidate with a right attitude and aptitude. It's not about their personal background. It's not about their academic background. For me, it's about the heart. It's all about the heart. So I always get inspired when I see young people that are really, really passionate. I'm not so young anymore, but I think I'm young at heart, you know? So I feel that they can always relate and say, you know, one day I would really like to be like Ayanda because I always tell my story of where I come from. And I believe that it pushes them to push more, even harder in their journey.
Yeah,
And
man, very, very interesting stuff. Look, for someone like myself, TC, I'll
Mm,
tell you, and I'm sure a whole lot of our viewers,
yeah.
from wherever they're tuning in from,
Mm,
have never heard of aquaponics, myself
right?
included,
Mm,
right? And I'm finding it
exactly.
very, very interesting. And the fact that Ayanda is an advocate and someone who's very big in teaching and sharing the knowledge of farming and aquaponics. But Ayanda, I want you to tell me now, with your passion for teaching and how much you want to give back to young farmers who are upcoming, in our communities, in and around our
Yeah.
communities, essentially. How sustainable is aquaponics compared to soil-based farming? Because we know that a lot of people, like you said, you yourself, when you were growing up, I think even today it's still quite true to see that farming and growing food from the ground is very associated with the elderly. Do you
it's
get what I'm trying
it's
to
it's
say?
seen as old people work,
Yes,
as an
yes.
old people hobby sometimes because
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. So as a young person yourself, Ayanda, and someone who's trying to give back to young upcoming farmers, how sustainable is aquaponics in comparing it to your basic soil-based farming?
Okay. That's a great question because of my background. I'm a soil scientist. I
Mm,
studied soil. And the first thing that I said to you guys was that everything that aquaponics does, it's inspired by soil.
mm,
Every natural process that occurs in soil is the one that occurs in an aquaponics system. All right. How so? In soil, you need to understand the purpose of the soil, right? There are four main reasons why we have the soil for the plants. It's for to offer oxygen for the plant, to offer water to the plant, to
mm,
offer nutrients to the plant, but also to anchor the plant, to bring support. So everything, those four factors, is the exact thing that we have copied from soil. But you need to understand that 60% of the arable land in Africa, which is the soil that the traditional farming that we are used to,
mm,
is damaged. It's damaged. It's bad. People cannot farm in those soils.
mm,
And it's very, very hard to farm organically because people are looking for quick harvest. They use chemicals that are toxic to the soil. Remember, the soil is alive, the soil
mm,
is living. And if ever you keep on pouring chemicals to the soil, pouring chemicals, in 10 years, 5 years' time, it will be dead. It will be dead soil, and it will take so much time to rehabilitate that soil. So, how is aquaponics different from the soil? Like I said, inspired by the soil, everything that is happening in there. This is just an innovative solution that we are coming up with in order to copy the soil. It uses less water compared to the soil. Water is a scarce resources. We've been having shortages of waters.
Mm.
So if ever you're using aquaponics, the water is just circulating in the system. We have a bacteria that is living. We have bacteria, like billions of bacteria in soil. We also have bacteria in aquaponic system. They are the ones that break down the fish poop into soluble fertilizer for the plant. So that makes it more sustainable into your input, putting more chemicals, your fertilizer into your system. You're not degrading anything. We're not flushing any water out. The water completely recycle itself as it circulates. So it's more sustainable. And when you come to our farm, I wish one day you guys can come to our farm because you get to meet the farmer. You get to meet, you get to see how your food was grown. I
yes.
think that's the beauty of it all. Because most farmers, I'd be honest with you, most farmers don't eat their food because they know exactly the chemicals they put in there. They're terrible
Yeah.
chemicals. Yeah, people are becoming more conscious about what they are eating nowadays. So when you're eating in an aquaponics produce, remember we have the bacteria that is alive. We've got the fish. If I put synthetic my water, the fish are going to die. The bacteria is going to die. Then the whole system is dead. So it's an ecosystem that I need to protect. That's why we don't fight for the term organic.
Yeah.
We
This is very
are pure
interesting.
organic.
It's very, very interesting
Yeah.
finding all of these things out because I think you've also answered me, TC. I think Ayanda has answered because I was about to ask about, maintaining water balance
Mm.
and nutrient balance in your system that you use in aquaponics. But I feel like you've touched base on it now because now we have a slight understanding
Mm.
and an in-depth comprehension of the differences or how you differentiate between soil-based farming and
Yeah.
aquaponics. Saying that very interesting that she said. I think you said 60% of the arable soil in Africa is slowly dying. That's very interesting to find out. Do you get what I'm trying to
Yes.
say?
Right?
And we take it for granted because we tend to think, no, it's just normal soil.
Mm.
I can plant there quickly and in a couple of months my food would have grown and stuff
Mm.
like that, not realizing that the things that we put into our soil essentially affect the plants that we're trying to grow Very, very interesting. I know there's something that you want to touch base on.
Yes,
Yeah.
because it's based on that. Because I want to know, why is soil health such a critical issue for food security and environmental sustainability? Because I think you've touched on it a little bit in your previous answers, but now I just want you to go a little bit in depth as to why is soil health such a critical issue for food security and environmental sustainability.
Yeah, it's a very good question because whenever we speak of soil, some people, a cup of soil, just if ever you take a cup of soil, it consists of billions of bacteria. No one talks about the bacteria, the living organism, the beautiful ecosystem that is invisible to the eye, that's naked to the eye. No one talks about that. But without that, your soil is dead. You need the soil engineers. You need to be in tune with your worms, the ones that when the leaves fall down, it degrades, it breaks them down, turn them into manure. Those are some of the critical things, but it's just like treating your body. If ever you put toxic chemicals in your body every day, like alcohol, for instance. Well, I'm not against alcohol, but yeah, I'm just saying. It's smoking, you will damage your liver. You are damaging some of the critical organs in your body. That's exactly what happens in the soil as well. So you are creating the imbalance, all right, of the soil. And I'll be honest with you, if ever you look at farmers that farm organically, meaning that they don't use chemicals, their prices should be very, very high because those guys work really hard to maintain the soil.
Yeah.
It is very, very hard to maintain an organic garden, or especially a hectares. Maybe you have like 10 hectares of land that you are managing organically. You are going to work that soil. You need to work it with everything that is in you. But then if ever you want a quick fix, you use those synthetic chemicals and everything is happy, but the chemicals that you put in, they leach. They get absorbed down. And if ever you are closer to the stream of water, those chemicals go straight into the dams. And then who drinks that water? How many living organisms that are living in water that you are going to kill? You understand? So soil health is very, very important. You need to take care of your soil. And some of the tractors that they are using in farming, they compact the soil. If ever you're compacting the soil, you meaning you're destroying the living organisms as well that are living in the soil. So it's a very
It's
soil
vast.
health is a
Yeah.
very broad topic. We can take
Yes.
the whole day talking about it and so many factors affecting it.
I
Yeah, and
promise you.
Hi, you know what? I see like you have like a whole lot of things that you have been teaching us in terms of farming itself and the different benefits that it have. So just before we let you go, I just have like one question that I want to ask. So I also saw that we did the played a video in the background where there
Yeah.
was hydroponic farming. So I think that's like one of the things that people don't know about till the right now is the fact that there's a thing called hydroponic farming. So would you mind just quickly going into how important it is to now, especially in the climate change and the ecosystem that we live in, to learn how to do hydroponic farming and how it actually saves up on the space, time, and also the soil itself?
Okay, hydroponics farming. It's farming. It's having like you have your plants and you're growing them without soil, and you can use we call them mediums. Mediums. A soil is a medium. So what else can you use other than soil? So we don't use soil. So we're using cocoa peats. You see the cover of the coconut? It's called a coconut koi. We use that. It's organic. It's biodegradable as well. So you use that as a substrate, as a medium to hold your seeds, and then they start germinating, and then you transplant them into your system. So in hydroponics, your water is continuously circulating, and you have your nutrients. In hydroponics is different from aquaponics because in hydroponics you just mainly put in chemicals. You create a cocktail of chemicals that are perfect for that particular plant that you're growing in your system. So in terms of space utilization, it's a good farming method because, like, for instance, we have NFT towers. You saw those white towers on the video. Those are called NFT towers, nutrient filling technique, because the water is flowing like a thin film of water down. And as the water trickles down, it provides oxygen, it provides nutrients, it provides air to the plant. And also it anchors the plants. Remember the four things I spoke about, the purpose of the soil? And then, yeah, I think these things, the beauty about them is that they can be done anywhere and everywhere, even in urban areas, in rooftop farming, like anywhere. You can put one tower and have your hydroponic farm.
Absolutely.
You don't, yeah,
Very interesting stuff.
sorry.
Perhaps you're wondering who we were in conversation with, or who is this lovely lady who's talking all things farming, all things soil based, and maintaining the health of the soil. Ayanda Mkhwane is a passionate agricultural professional, consultant, and trainer with over a decade of hands-on experience in the agricultural sector. She holds a BSc in environmental geography, majoring in soil sciences, like she mentioned, and all of this was done at the University of the Free State. So, this is the conversations, or these are the kinds of conversations that we have right here at the Vuga Breakfast Show, bringing you people who are doing amazing stuff in and around our communities. And on this Monday morning, it was no exception whatsoever. She mentioned Uti, she would absolutely love for us to come out there at the farm to see it for ourselves, hands on, literally, and get into the soil and get down and dirty with it. And we can't wait to come out, to the farm out there, Ayanda. And we really hope for you to come through into studio as well, to have you in person, so that
Yes.
you can share a bit more on all of those things. But before we let you go, very quickly, where can one, if one is very interested and is very fascinated by all of this information you've been giving this morning, where can we find the farm? Where is it situated, and how can we access it essentially?
Okay, so we are based in Randburg, in Gauteng, number 300 West Avenue, in Randburg, yeah, in Vende. And you can catch, if ever you're interested in all this information, you can go to our social media
Yes.
platforms. We are on, yes, it's One World Fresh Africa, both on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok. Yes, we are everywhere there. One World Fresh Africa. And for people who are interested in attending the cohort, the unfortunately, the cohort one, the application have already closed, but just keep on checking our website for the second cohort. We'll be taking people throughout Africa, and yeah, and we are intending to implement 198 structures like this to end global hunger.
Yo, what an incredible reminder
Yeah.
that growth
Yes.
isn't just about what we plant, it's about how we nurture, empower, and innovate. A big thank you to Ayanda Mkhwane for reminding us that purpose, passion, and persistence can transform communities and futures.
Absolutely.
So, whether you're in the field or in the city, her journey proves that we all have a role to play in building a better, more sustainable tomorrow. So let's go into this week ready to grow, give, and lead. Thank you so much for taking
Absolutely.
this interview with us and for sharing your knowledge on the agricultural industry and obviously the world of aquaponics and soil health.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we really thank you. And we can't wait to have another conversation with you where we dive deeper into all of these things. You can see across our screens there, we are sharing Ayanda's social media pages. But you can also check her out on One World. Is it? Yes, One World Fresh Africa,
Yes.
both on Facebook and Instagram. And of course, you can check out Ayanda Mkhwane both on Instagram and Facebook. But with that being said, Ayanda, we are going to have to let you go very quickly. But we really appreciate you taking the time, to talk to us and get into this conversation. So, yeah, man, enjoy the rest of your day and